true dual fuel system. It's got a 450 in-tank pump. It's got everything supercharged. I believe it's a 408. This truck ran low 12s with a NA 5.3.
No controlling me, my thoughts get so bad, I'm like, I might grab a bat, I don't know, my wrath, my blood boils over like, oh God, here goes. I lost all feeling from my head to my toes. You said some shit that I can't.
This is walking out into the main shop area. So our landlord, we didn't mention up front, our landlord took care of repainting everything in the front as well as new carpet. And then my dad spent the better part of like 3 or 4 days getting all the gray paint up on the walls, and then he's working on getting the staircase finished up and whatnot because that was brand new and put in for us. And then I just did some banners and hung the flag there on the door, so when the door goes up, the flag will hang down. Right now, 5 customers' cars in the shop. We had 6 earlier this week, and I took the Possum back to Columbus, Ohio, and I'll be down there in a few weeks helping them get things set up at the track and looking through all the data and all that type of stuff. And then here's my S10 that hasn't been on the road in a very long time, but one of these days maybe we'll get it back out there. So this truck ran low 12s with a NA 5.3 that Baker Engineering did some head work on for me and TJ spec the cam. And I'd like to get it back out as a twin turbo LS combination. We'll see what happens there. Welding kind of fab area. And then again, as I've mentioned in another video a few minutes ago, we kind of have the land of misfit toys, stuff that hasn't really kind of found a home yet in the new shop, but we have some ideas. We gotta get the south wall taken care of and get a few more things on that, get a few more things hung, and then we'll be more apt to get workbenches moved around and whatnot. So this is David's workbench here, and then Matt's workbench over here, and then this is my workbench here, which doesn't have the overhead structure on it, and then Kyler's is right on the other side of me. Well, we've officially made it through our first week of business in the new shop, and things are going great. We've got some things to work through with some space. The shape of this building is a little bit different than the last space that we were in, and we still kind of have our land of misfit toys stacked up over against the wall that we have to do a little bit of organizing with, but everybody's really happy, and everybody that's been here thinks the new space is great. So here we've got just an overall layout of everything. We'll kind of go into the specifics about a couple of these cars as we walk through. We've got some deadlines coming up on a couple of them, so we're working pretty diligently to get through this. And the cool thing is we never had a mezzanine before, and that space is awesome to be able to store things that we're not touching all that often. So first we'll kind of walk through. We had all this stuff was at the old shop, but no one's ever really seen what the shop looks like. So we've got F6 loom, we've got all kinds of connectors and things that we keep in inventory. So the first one we're gonna walk by here is a 68 Camaro RS SS car that Baker Engineering put together 2 or 3 years ago now, and we did all the wiring on it. It's back for a small fuel system upgrade, but it's got everything supercharged. I believe it's a 408, T56, cruise control, vintage heat and air conditioning. The next one here in the shop is a 68 Firebird, so we got a pair of F-bodies here. This is LS3 based as well, with a 4L60 trans, Holley EFI, Dakota digital gauges, heat and air conditioning, cruise control, the whole package. So is having the restoration shop do the American Auto Wire harness, and then we're handling the EFI side of things. So we'll zoom in here a little bit on this one so you can see we've got, you might not be able to see it, we've got a bulkhead fitting slated to go, oh, it is in there right now. So there's where the bulkhead's gonna go on that car. And just trying to make things very clean and very tidy for this customer. The next one is an original big block Corvette that's getting EFI put on it as well as Dakota digital gauges, custom MagnaFlow exhaust system, and then it's going to go over to Baker Engineering, and they're going to do a little work on the engine just to spruce it up a little bit. We're going to pass over this one for just a minute. Here's the next car that's going to be leaving the shop. It's a 66 or 67. I'm sure somebody's going to correct me on what the year is, but it's a Chevelle Malibu wagon. So this one's slated for drag and drive competition. It's a twin turbo, true dual fuel system. It's got a 450 in-tank pump, and it also has a 10 gallon per minute external pump. So it's a dry sump setup. So here's the dry sump tank, and then they have a mirror image tank over there that is methanol. And so what will happen is with the tune setup and everything in the FI system, this will be started up on gasoline, idled through the pits in gasoline, and then as you're coming up on the two-step, we'll switch over to methanol, which has become a very common thing in the drag and drive space. This car also has heat and air conditioning in it as well as full exhaust with boost activated cutouts. So the team of guys that are going to be campaigning this car used to run some nostalgia nitro stuff, I believe. and this is kind of like retirement for them, is to do drag and drive. So we met the owner here of this vehicle back a few years ago, Brian and I did, and they kind of followed us around drag week and got to know us, and this is actually the second car that we've wired for him. The first car was a customer's car. And then we're gonna pan over here to the last vehicle we have in the shop right now other than my truck. And this is a very unique build. This is a 73 or 74 Datsun Fairlady, but we won't get too, I don't know if we'll be able to tell too much, but this vehicle has been widened. You can see, like, well, on the dash right there, you can see where it's been widened. And then the body has also been lengthened, and they've added a bunch of skirts and flares and all types of things to this vehicle. And it rides on a custom chassis that houses LS2 GTO 6-liter, T56, and then the IRS. So the driveline is pretty much all like 06 GTO era. Over here we've got what I call the land of misfit toys. This is like the last wall that hasn't been organized. And so it's toolboxes and it's workbenches in front of our scheduling board that hasn't been put up yet, and bolt bins over here on the floor, and a cooler that doesn't work right now, and the scissor lift that we use to do all the painting and then to hang our signs up. I just got the American flag up today, so I'm really excited about that. It's something that the other shop didn't have, and I'm very proud to fly a flag in the shop. And then we just hung some banners across the wall here. We've got some Sick Week banners, as well as Fergola, Summit, and Mickey Thompson. So we kind of did a car overview. The workbench is an absolute disaster right now. This is normally where we set up and run our wiring harnesses, but it actually, as I say, it's a mess. It's got a lot of components for this car, this Malibu here that we're working on. So there's a portion of main harness for it. There's some more Holley wiring you can see there. My laptop's open trying to get some stuff going with my DJI mics that I was having some issues with. And then here is essentially the center console for this wagon, as well as the ECU is going to sit underneath the seat. So this is actually my Dominator computer here. We've left the one bolted into the customer's car, and then this is how we'll get all of this wiring laid into the vehicle. But we'll do 95% of this work we'll do on the bench, and then it's easier on everybody's backs, and it's also easier. We've got better lighting and all that type of stuff. We make sure we have a good solid crimp connection and everything like that. It's definitely a dreary day today. However, this is the, I guess, first walk through the front door for everybody. We moved into more of an industrial space. There's quite a bit of factories, a landscape contractor across the street we actually do some wiring work for as well. But the new space is located at 1800 Industrial Park Drive, Suite F. We gotta get our buddy Brooks down here to get some vinyl on the front door, or maybe on this side pillar area here is where we're thinking we're gonna do a nice J-Wire logo. But as we walk into here, we're also gonna do some J-Wire here on this nice white wall. Sorry to not zoom out sooner. And then here's the, I'll say the first greet for a customer. We've got kind of a Shopify shipping area set up with a computer station as well as printer. And then the back hallway, or I guess the only hallway here, takes you to what will eventually be organized better and will be my office. We'll step in here and get the lights to turn on. And we also now have a designated break room for the guys, which really makes things pretty nice. And I'm actively looking on Facebook Marketplace for a break room table.
Yeah. Sometimes I get so mad, there's no controlling me. My thoughts get so bad, I'm like, I might grab a bat, I don't know. My wrath, my blood boils.